So talking about a little bit of jazz, Montreal Jazz Festival started in 1980s. I think since 82 or 83, I've been actually going there. And they invite people from different people from the different countries, different areas of Canada to come and participate. And at that time, most of these people are kind of unknown quantities, but they're very good musicians. So they come, and I will go through the slides, so you will probably see. So here's the stage where there's a large the band is playing, and you can actually see there's wind sections and guitars and so on and so forth. So from these two quartets and trios come and actually play. So what they do is the large part of Montreal, let's say 1.5 kilometer square area or even more, is called Law. And they actually set up around 5 or 6 stages at different corners of this area. And at any one point in time, and over a period of about 11, 12 days, at any one point in time, there would be about 2 or 3 bands playing. So people can actually mingle around and go around and actually see whatever they want. It's all free. And there's beer going on, there's food. So it's a kind of a festive occasion. So in these kind of situations, there's a lot of interesting photography opportunities that are there. And as you see in this one, there's lighting, which is a key element of photography. There's colors, and of course the music one cannot hear, but there's a lot of interest in terms of people's the musicians and the intensity with which they play, the facial expressions and so on. And so as a still photographer, I was interested. Now somebody in fact asked me the other day that did I do video? No, I try to stick to still photography. I know that I can do that well, and so I have not actually ventured out into video. Now, just for the photographers in this in this audience, on the right hand side, I have put some other material that may be of interest. So you can ask questions or whatever. So the cameras that I've used are from Nikon D70 all the way down to D7200 over many years. So just going through so this one is typical of a large group in India, and here's a shot of the people mingling around. Look at the amount of people at any point. This is around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's a lot of people who go there. It's a real festive occasion. Then this follows soon after the Grand Prix. So Montreal is pretty well geared for many tourists and so on. So young and the old alike come there and participate, and they all enjoy the music that's there. So as you said, jazz music it's effectively, it comes from New Orleans, Chicago, that area, and some of these areas in US, and it's got its roots with the people who came to the plantations. And so the blues music started there, and then that became jazz. And so effectively jazz is, I think for the most part, they use the pentatonic scales, and it's very much not written down, improvised music. So there's a lot of variation that you see in these music festivals. So this is another shot of the that same orchestra, but different lighting. So again, I think from photographic point of view, there's a lot of interest here in these stages. And here are people dancing, to the music, and there's no inhibitions whatsoever. It's another photograph of the spectators. And as you see, I took it from close to 200 with the 200 millimeter from a distance. So I try to be as candid as I possibly can. This guy is a blind musician, and he plays a number of different instruments. So it took my fancy, and of the lighting, as you see the red light on his hair and on in the back, kind of added to the scene. Do you know who this person is? This is Sarathi Alvesa. He's one of the directors, and I think he came with Nanda Malini, Deepika Priyadarshini, or somebody, and the other guy is a musician from Toronto. He was actually lending his hand to the group. So I took this one in Montreal. Again, the expressions, the people intently looking at the music and trying to figure out. This, I think I used the flash, but most of the photography is available lighting. This is from the jazz festival. Again, the intensity of the musician. This one is klezmer music. Klezmer music is Jewish music. It's very nice, interesting music. And in the early days, the jazz festival gave lots of opportunities to Jewish klezmer musicians. Lately, they haven't. Lately, they're focusing more on the strict jazz type of music. But this kind of added a lot to the music. It's really, fast beat, very nice music. Those of you who may have actually seen Fiddler on the Roof, that had jazz, the klezmer music in it. Again, there's a lot of activities for children and people, enjoying themselves with the music around them. This is on the side is the Marriott Hotel, and this is on the terrace of the Marriott Hotel. People actually looking down on the street where the music is going on. The same guy with pan flutes from southern America, Peru maybe. The percussionists, again, are difficult people to actually capture because they tend to sit at one place and actually play. The only movement is the hand movement. In this particular case, I captured this one. There were 3 people so animated playing the percussion instruments. And this is a rare scene because you don't get to see these people like that very often. A lot of different instruments there. This one is also from the jazz festival. Again, the lighting here is very, very good. This is a fountain that was there. I mean, I just captured at a very high speed just to freeze the water globulets so that you get a nice effect. I don't know if you know this guy. This is Jessie Cook. This is a long time ago. I saw him playing at the festival, and I found this man is a flamenco guitarist, adapted his style to the jazz music. And those days, of course, he was actually playing on the side, all free. Today, his concerts are all sold out at $300 a ticket. Another shot of him on that same stage. Again, the lighting was very, very nice on that particular day. And these kinds of photographs are somewhat difficult to actually take because you need to kind of focus and get the right exposure for the subject, but you have to contend with the light around, and that adds a component to the photograph. But how you balance that is an interesting challenge that one has in taking these kinds of photographs. And as I said, these are all available light. I don't use the flash other than in very rare occasions. This is another famous Congo drummer from Peru. He was playing, and the two are actually talking about it and playing together, kind of thing, having a conversation in music. Again, children having a great time there. Another little one enjoying. Including wheelchair. By the way, this is all on the street, and then there's a lot of music on the street as well. So I consider myself more as maybe a photojournalist capturing these things than a street photographer. But this is street photography. People come with their chairs and sit down, have a beer. And I don't know what this piano player was shouting about. I mean, obviously he's saying something to somebody. This one I purposely underexposed, tried to get that. This was round about, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening. There was a ray of sunlight coming down here, and then I just wanted to actually get that lady with the stretched arms, and purposely underexposed at the 13200 second. Now this is again kind of animation. It's not in good focus, but at 1/30th of a second at 195 millimeter. But I found that is very interesting with the starburst light at the back and the animation on the stage. It was really on this particular occasion, it was really nice. There was a lot of things that was happening, and part of that same stage was this lady playing this tenor saxophone, and again a lot of animation. It's completely out of focus, but the animation and the movements are very clear with the beautiful colors. The same girl with a alto sax. Same stage. Again, that ray of light from the light from the background was quite interesting. Added a nice. I actually use all 1/30th of a second in this, but at ISO 800 to actually capture that, and did not worry too much about the clarity. This is again the Marriott Hotel on the right-hand side, and you can see the number of people that are there to see. And, anything from 1,000, 2,000 to 10,000. I have seen of people coming to see these concerts, and it will run for 12 days. This is fusion music with Bhangra type drumming on the street. So there was the perspective here is quite different. So here you get up front close to the musicians. You are actually with them mingling. So this is really street photography. Don't often see Punjabi guys playing trumpets. So all street scenes. Reflections on some object there of the people who are going on the street. More dancing to the music. as I said, most of my photography is candid, but in this particular case, two people kind of noticed me taking the photographs. It was at 86 millimeters, so close by. And one of the announcers announcing a show. I was intrigued by the sunlight, falling on her hair. This particular one was an all a female group, and I found it extremely interesting, as you probably will see. Again, there was a catchlight. There's a little bit of sunrise coming again on her hair. This is about again 7 o'clock, close to 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening. Expressions. Another nice expression. Oblivious to the music, having doing his own thing. You can see the stage on her sunglasses. That same female group. This particular one is one of my best black and whites. It's a fluke. I took quite a few shots, but when I came back and when I looked at this particular one, the timing was just right. Her finger on the string, on the double bass, and that person on the back smiling. I thought, this is very good for a black and white photograph. So I kind of made it, and one of my best black and white photographs that I've taken, although it's a fluke. Again, the expressions of these girls. I think this is a kind of, I don't know, South American dance or something like that, tango or something like that. I don't know what they were doing. But I thought it was very interesting expression. I don't take selfies. This is one of my very few selfies, myself and my wife, the shadows. This guy used to come from, from way back in 1982, so I could actually see him out there. Very interesting character. Comes to every jazz festival. Lately, I haven't seen him, so don't know what happened. I think he's of Haitian origin, I think. People don't just come to music, they also come to read, and has actually even brought the dictionary with her. Again, just street dancing. Here again, I focused on the expression. The guy was so intent, focusing on the music. Same here. There was a girl actually, and this is a very shot from the way below, trying to get a different perspective. Reading the music. there are people, going into trance, and there's people use marijuana and all kinds of things in this place. So when I come out after about 4 or 5 hours of photography and enjoy music, I'm also upon close to heaven, with secondhand smoke. And this particular one was with a flash exposure. This too is flash exposure. Late in the evening, it probably was very dark. So these are kind of a setup, you get to see. So it varies from street the type of music to this type of music on stage. So your angle of view is very different in different situations. All around that, there's a kind of water parks and such like for the children. So they come up there and enjoy these around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess. Piano player with a very nice expression. This is the same guy on a different year, I guess. This guy is actually using his foot to mute and damp the vibrations on the drum. This is a washboard. I don't know if you've seen or heard about it. This is actually a washboard used for washing clothes down south, and it's used as a musical instrument often because it gives a nice percussion sound. He's a drummer, but going into the bongos, he keeps his stick in his mouth. Again, the expressions and the lighting from the background all adds to that beautiful scene. Reflections and the expression. This is street level music. People enjoy, dance, reflections and expressions. Expressions of the spectators. There's enough beer there. Guy's gone into a kind of a trance and, in music. This guy is actually from Sri Lanka. He plays the baritone saxophone. I think he's from the west coast of Canada. He actually gave a performance on that particular year with the same group. The intensity and the expression. Does anybody know who this is? This is Pradeep Ratnayaka from Sri Lanka, one of the finest sitarists in the world. He came to Montreal and actually played here. And on that particular day, I didn't have a lot of occasion for photography, but I managed to take this particular one. And this is Vijayaratna Ranatunga is no more with us. one of the finest tablis in Sri Lanka. And the background is Joachim, a good bass player, jazz bass player. That's him. So soon after the jazz festival comes another festival called Nuit du Afrique, that is the Nights of Africa. And basically that the focus and the is for the African music. So there's a lot of African musicians who come and actually play in this festival soon after the jazz festival. So there's a lot of music going on for quite about close to 2 months. So this is from that Nuit du Afrique festival. So I don't know why this person is so glum about everything. Quickly changed. And that brings me to the end. And thank you very much. Did you see that? Yeah.
It's a lovely presentation. I'm sure most of you will have a lot of things to ask. Marcel?
You know, Joachim, Alston Joachim.
Alston Joachim, yeah, he's very
good. He's a friend of mine. You won't believe that the first few chords on the guitar, I taught him many, many years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were just playmates going to school. I taught him the first D major chord and A major. So I was a guy who, but he's very good.
I've never seen you playing music. I mean, I did not know that you were a very good musician.
Not a very good musician. I played music, but you can't call me a very good musician. Then, of course, Alston, and then after he really became a professional musician.
Alston is a fantastic bass guitarist.
Yeah,
he came to Canada on his very first tour to Canada.
Yeah.
And Lakshman Joseph Desairam and you know, a really good group of musicians. And they will give a fantastic show here in Montreal.
You know, some of your photographs, especially the pianist, and I think I can't exactly pinpoint now. It would have been very much better if you had it in monochrome, black and white.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Some very good black and white opportunities for you there.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
We change it black and white to be very good.
Yeah, because the important element there is the expression rather than anything else.
Expressions, yes. Yeah. But some of the expressions come very well in black and white.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You always use zoom lenses.
Some zoom, yeah. I don't use the prime so much because the thing is, it's very difficult to kind of adjust to the varying situations with the prime lens. So I actually use a zoom lens to actually get as much as possible crop the images to what I want.
Also, I suppose you're basically photographing action, so you need to mostly have something in your command so that you can manage the focal distance.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I have a 90mm and 50mm prime lenses, but I find that they're okay for street photography, but for this type of thing, it's extremely difficult because you cannot actually get anything into the frame very quickly.
So I noticed that sometimes you just shoot on program by compensating.
Well, one of the things is that in the program mode, what I find is interesting is that with the program mode, I can go to a very large aperture very quickly. So I don't have to worry about the exposure too much.
Right.
Whereas with the shutter priority, I only go to shutter priority when I really have to keep the shutter at a high speed, especially with long focus lenses in the available light. But other than that, program mode is very useful because I can go either way very quickly with a touch of a button.
And also you capture the moment, isn't it? If you miss the moment by trying to set up your camera, then you lose it. You don't have anything anyway.
Yeah, you lose the moment. I mean, you have to go for the moment.
And you see, you said some of the pictures out of focus, but sometimes it's nice when it's out of focus, especially on stage and stage lighting.
Right.
When the picture's out of focus, it's more, adds a mysterious look to it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Some of the being out of focus and camera shake and all that adds on to the drama of the moment.
But I'm not sure whether that was a intended thing, but in taking so many shots,
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
End of the day, you find out that's nice.
Well, that's the way most of the professionals are doing.
Right.
But I think coming from a film era to digital, when I look at your photographs, I clearly see that you got your depth of field right, your composition right, and the fact that the focal point, like the area of interest in all your photographs. Excuse me, there's somebody trying to come in. Area of interest, like you sometimes in some photographs you have a frame within a frame because you sort of captured the main subject so well, and you can sort of, it just flows out of the picture.
Right.
I think is a really important element to understand if you're really trying to convey the mood, because this is in a manner documentary music type of photography. So you need to bring something out because there's a lot of action, and the moment that happens on the street with music and all that is not easy to transform into a 2D still picture unless you get these things right. So in your case, your pictures are very clean, which is really great. Not much of contrast, not much of play with light and shadow. Even your indoor shots, which is absolutely great, so clean, nice, very focused. And the colors, you bring out the colors also, the blend of the flow of colors very nicely. But I think which really caps it, it just takes it to a different level is the fact that you frame it so well, and your point of interest comes out really amazingly. I mean, that's really amazing. I really love your photographs. And just to let you know, I think you're doing your own books, right? You do your own little books.
Yes. So as I said, I'm more a photojournalist than good photographer like you guys. But what actually happened was my wife and I like to travel a lot. So when we come back, I normally bring a large amount of the photographs. So I was wondering what do I do with this? First, I started printing on my Epson printer here. It takes it's costly and it takes so much effort. But then I found out about maybe 15, 16 years ago, this Blurb. It's an American organization that actually provides you with a format. You actually create the book yourself. Everything you actually do the editing and everything. You can put text, you can put the photographs, and you just download the whole thing to a Blurb. And within a couple of days, it comes back as a nice photograph, and it stays in the library. And so I found that very useful. And the thing is, with that, you can show it to people. Even we actually end up actually looking at it, so it's a very useful medium, I found.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And if you ever going to do another book, I would suggest that you use that black and white. That's only black and white that you showed as your cover.
Yes.
And that's really a nice shot. And
yeah. In fact, what I thought was that I've never done that before. Like I've done autumn leaves. So the whole thing was that early morning when we go out walking, and my wife says, why you had to carry the camera also. And I kept on taking photographs of all the autumn leaves, different colors, and did one book of autumn leaves. So when I was actually doing this presentation, and I was actually pulling out all these photographs from over close to 15, 20 years of photography, make a book of jazz music. And as you said, maybe that black and white should be the cover.
And it's positioned so well that you can have your title on the side because there's a blank area for that.
Right.
And
So that is going to be one of my projects to actually create that books. Now that I have all the photographs, all I have to do is put it together. No, that making the coffee books is a very useful thing. I find that.
Do they charge for present these iBooks? Do they charge? There is a charge for that too.
Yes, you have to pay. Now,
Ah.
just to give a comparison, most of my books happen to be around, let's say 90 pages, 80, 90 pages. And each page, I put a lot of large pages, so these are generally 11, 12 by 13, 14-inch books. They all contain around, let's say, I don't know, 700, 800 photographs. So small ones, large ones. Now, if I had to print all of those photographs on small, reasonably large format, it cost me a heck of a lot. And these ones only cost me about $70 Canadian. For $70 Canadian, I cannot actually get the ink and print.
Yeah, you got it. That's true.
So it comes by
excellent quality.
And it comes by post.
It comes by post, and you can actually, with the large number of the copies, it goes down, but $70 on average, $70, $80 on average.
It's called Lulu.
So you can read that.
It's called Lulu.com. Am I right?
No, it's Blurb.
No.
B-L-U-R-B, yeah.
And you can sell it online. You can sell the books online, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it goes into their own bookstore. And a lot of people actually bought some of my books. Some of the ones that I've done on Sri Lanka, people have bought.
So they keep it as a digital copy, and if anybody wants, you can order. They
can order it. They'll ship it. Yeah.
All right. Marcel, high time you did something, man. I mean, you've been taking so many pictures.
I just got about 15, 20. In fact, the jazz festival at San Francisco, Waters at South Africa. Cape Town, Waters Edge Bay. We have the same type of jazz music. I have taken photographs, but unfortunately, it's in print form only. The negatives have deteriorated. These are all negative films. Color, but negative. The SLR, not a DSLR, but it's SLR, single lens reflex camera.
So the films have deteriorated, did you say?
The negatives, I got the prints, but the prints have faded a little bit. The negatives are called deteriorated because of humidity and all that. You can't keep it in Sri Lanka, the negatives.
So you can rescan, Marcel, you can rescan.
Sorry?
You can rescan.
Yeah, you can scan the print, but the prints, of course, have lost their color and it's still a bit dull. We went to Kruger, South Africa, and then that one night we stayed at Cape Town and we went to the jazz festival. And all the same jazz musicians, because that's also a French colony, so a lot of jazz. So the thing is, print, I had a lot of, even still I have a lot of negatives and prints with me. Long years ago, like you, I did photography on roll film. Now, what Ramesh is doing now, the black and white. How is your photography, Ramesh, coming through?
Photography, I need to come through. Photography is already there. Yeah, not much these days, Marcel.
Yeah.
So do you do your own developing, Ramesh?
What I do is, up to now, when things are normal, we used to get it done in Singapore. Because you get so many places which is very reasonable, and there is a system where you can say, if you hand it over today, it goes there within a couple of days, it comes back, very reasonable cost. About $7-8.
Yeah, I just saw that Ilford, I think, has come out with a black and white kit for those who wants to actually do black and white photography.
Yes, you have a home kit also now. And I was really planning to start developing here, the black and whites.
Yeah.
At least got the equipment, and actually developing may not be, okay, it is a process, but not all that out of the world. But I think manual printing is the key.
That's right, yeah.
Really, sort of completes the whole of,
Yeah, the challenge is in printing. Yeah, definitely.
that's something I would love to start. I got an enlarger and stuff like that, but need to get down to it.
I saw the other day, I actually went into the dark rooms at the Lionel event. There's a dust enlarger and quite a lot of stuff that could be probably recuperated.
Yeah. I got the lenses cleaned. Actually, I rescued the lens. There's some really good, very good. I mean, they had this. I know you can see it. It's
Yeah. Zeiss?
yeah. This is a no. This is a size. You're right. Yes. It would have cost a packet of money if you could buy this.
Yes, it was expensive. Very expensive.
Yeah, I got it cleaned. At least rescued that part of it. So we need to get the rest of the equipment sorted out and get the darkroom working.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Sam.
You are very brave in actually your camera angle, and they have come out perfectly well. I actually enjoy the way that you had shot the pictures.
What's the braveness in that?
I'm sorry?
What is the braveness in it, Sam?
Braveness is most of us would actually try to keep the cameras vertical and horizontal, and take the picture straight, people straight. But you have actually taken the shot with the people at an angle, and that created a lot of dynamic, visually dynamic, appealing pictures. And the colors and
the reason for that? The reason for that is very simple.
Okay.
The reason for that was because of the proximity. Either the horizontal or the vertical would not have taken everything. So the only way to the diagonals.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Would you recall this picture, Ramesh?
Yes, I do. That was taken by my uncle. And in Jail or someplace like that, there used to be a Mudalali there, and his house. This actually won a award at the PSSL.
I'm actually taking you back on a journey. This is from the 1960 PSSL 7th International Catalogue.
Right.
A picture taken by his uncle, L.A.C. Alice.
1960.
1960.
1960.
1960.
So just to add to what Sam is saying, I have actually visited the Lionel Wendt,
That's interesting.
Yeah, the Lionel Wendt. There were three black. I can remember there were three black and the dark rooms there. And as I think a 10-year-old, I have actually gone with my uncle because he was using those dark rooms at that time, and he was my inspiration as a photographer. Because my father was a good photographer, but he was a technically good photographer, not artistically. But my uncle had a Rolei, and that was taken with a Rolei. 120 of the film, I can still remember. And that's how I kind of ventured into photography, long time ago. At Lionel Wendt.
Yeah. And he has written an article, I think it was in 2014 or 15, to our newsletter.
Uh-huh.
So he was not a member. He wrote about his visits to various temples in Sri Lanka, various places. I think it was in 2015.
I've never seen that. That's news to me. I did not know.
You wrote an article.
Oh, myself, yeah, that's true. Yes.
You did.
Yeah, one of the things I try to do when I'm in Sri Lanka is to try to go to a different temple each time. Not the more frequented temples, but the other temples, and actually take photographs of paintings and whatever that I can, and put it into my the books, for the simple reason because that would actually help to preserve some of this culture that we have. And in fact, several times I actually met people from the archaeology department, and I basically said, if they want as a photographer to do some of their dirty work, I could do it for free. So
Archaeological department. Yeah.
Good presentation, I said. Well done.
So
yeah, I think it was at your invitation that I wrote that, right? Long time ago.
Yes, you did. Yeah, yes, right. I'm trying to search it in my computer. If I find it, I'll try and share it on the screen now.
Laya, do you still have your film cameras with you?
I do have the Nikon, the last one that I got, the FE3. I still have it, and I have actually put few 35mm rolls through it, using some of the lenses that I have. Of course, some of the automation does not work, but it works. I still have the Western meter, the
Light
meter that I use, for incident light measurements.
Yeah, with film, there was very little margin for error, isn't it? In the sense, costly errors were always costly.
Couldn't afford to actually experiment too much.
Because not necessarily the money, you miss the moment. I mean, you can't.
Also, you have to carry a couple of. You can't have different film densities. No, it is 100 ASA. It's 100 ASA.
That's right.
See, if it's 800, it's 800. So you can't keep on changing the film. Always you have to carry about 2-3 cameras. Always, about 3 cameras. It was a bit of a problem now compared to now. It was more difficult.
Some of the good film had a lot of latitude. I mean.
Yeah, black and white had a lot of latitude. Yes, correct.
And then when you develop it, you could sort of push and pull. Content was there, so it was much more than. So that's what I was when I was watching Laya's photographs. You can see the touch from where it is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot just take a photograph and expect to crop, because you got to make sure that you get the right photograph.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Also, I think the digital era has just made it's not apologetic in the sense that we can just take photographs. You can just pick your camera up and shoot 1,000 shots, and
those are just memorable photographs you can keep for your personal enjoyment. But those are not really.
You can still do it, and then so it doesn't take you anywhere. Finally, maybe you're just
see your collection. That's it.
Yeah.
Memorabilia.
But
I can remember when I first started in Sri Lanka. I was still at Ananda College, and as I said, we borrowed the cameras and such like. I used to with the cameras and the enlargement equipment. There was somebody who managed to get a expired roll of film from the government film unit, 35mm. So we used to just go there and actually measure enough film for 35mm roll and actually, and it was expired film, black and white. I think it was 100 ASA. So the government film unit could use it, so he gave it to somebody. So there's enough film for us to kind of,
I know.
And
play around with,
photograph, you don't know whether you're going to get anything or not. But it did work.
Great.
I, in fact, even covered I can remember covered a wedding with some of that stuff, with a bulb flash.
I have some 120 negatives, which is still, really not deteriorated. 35mm negatives have deteriorated, but the real 120 I have is.
So what was the camera that you're using, Marcel?
At that time I used just a Kodak Brownie 127, Kodak 127.
Oh, okay.
And then of course I had the FM1, FM2.
You know how old this Kodak is? Still works, mind.
Really?
Still works.
It's a Brownie.
What is the film size for that? 120.
Kodak Falcon 2.
Yeah.
620.
95.
No, the film dimension size. Film roll size. Size of the film roll. Size of the film roll.
620.
620.
All Brownie is 620.
I can remember. Yeah, 620. Yeah. 120. I can remember 620. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This was 895.
Yeah, lately I've been about 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was actually looking for a Rolleiflex if I could actually get. The Rolleiflex are still very expensive.
Yeah, of course.
But then I thought to myself, if I buy so much, I mean, pay so much money, get a Rolleiflex, I mean, what am I going to do? How often am I going to use it?
As a twin lens, TLR.
It's lens reflex, yeah. But the reflex cameras are fantastic for the street photography because, you can unobtrusively take the photographs. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of the Rolleiflex.
Level
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So next time you come to Sri Lanka, I'll give you my Rolleiflex. You can use it.
Oh, you have one? Wow, that's good.
I have a Mamiya 220 also. It's also a twin lens.
That's fantastic. You have lenses for that as well?
It's with a 50.
Okay.
50. Yeah, it's a prime. So is Sam going to show the article, or we can wrap up the meeting?
Sorry, I can't find it. I'll try and share sometime in the future.
Okay, thanks.
Or you can email it to him so that he can remember what he wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okie dokie. So any more
Thank you
questions?
very much for giving me an opportunity.
Shamini, anything else to add?
Just let's ask the others whether they have anything to ask or comment about Laya's presentation.
I'm sure Hiran Valitigoda might have something to ask.
I was enjoying the presentation and about the film cameras and all the stuff, which actually my father was a photographer in the 60s. So although I'm a thoroughly converted digital fan, I remember as a kid, I used to go to the, the dark room and watch the, his, what do you call, the project. I think it was made in Czechoslovakia. That's how I remember the name. I can't remember the brand, but I used to, you put it in the acid bath, then wash it, then hang it up to dry. To me, it was, to tell you the truth, quite tedious. And he used to take me to a couple of weddings. I used to go as the boy who used to hold up the whistle board, or you had to hold up the board at those days to reflect off his flash. So, but I used to hate that. But incidentally, when the digital era came, I just like a duck to the water. I just just went the whole shebang. Incidentally, as a matter of interest, Ramesh, about 6 months ago,
Yes.
called and asked me, do you know this Valitigoda? It was a name he had got in a, I think, one of the old membership forms.
Yeah.
And I think Daddy Senanaka's name was also there. It was in maybe 1960s maybe. To see the name was my father, so I was very happy to see he had also been a member in the, I think most probably in the 60s, most probably. So just something interesting I remembered when talking of film era and the difference in the present days. So I just remembered that to me.
Because the list, the members who are allowed to use the dark room, right? That's the list you're referring to.
I can't remember. You had found it. And my father's good friend, Mr. P.U. Patiran, another photographer in the era, and my father's good friend. And Daddy Seranayaka's name was also in the same list.
I think those are the members who had paid the subs. There were rascals then also,
Yeah, Daddy Senanaka used to have a Leica M3, I can remember. He's a good photographer.
He was a good photographer. Correct. Right. So thank you very much. Any more questions? Ranmali, we like to hear your voice. Anything that you want to ask? Black and white. You're the black and white lady of black and white. Laya started as a black and whiter. So ask him something. Anything. Not
I think I enjoyed her black and white the other day in her presentation. That was really good.
Black and white, yes. He's refused.
I think it's a very interesting presentation. We did not have a presentation on music like recent past, so I think it's a lovely change. And you have taken very good candid photos. I think all of us who joined today have enjoyed, and
I agree. I reflect what Shamini says, because Laya, photography mostly is taking all sorts of different paths. You find a lot of art photography with, very sort of grotesque type of color combinations and contrasts and so on coming up, and people sort of get carried away. So you find that these different genres, like what you're doing, that your special touch, that type of nice, easy flowing travel photography with a lot of focus, get sidelined, that type of thing. So we are very happy, as a society, we encourage this type of thing. And there are people like you who still do this type of photography, so that we can also continue to enjoy. So what I would urge you is, I think your set of photographs tells a nice story. You're just lay it across and create a book so that we can all get a copy and enjoy it. I think that's
yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yes, and,
certainly going to do that. So this presentation kind of helped me to kind of formulate my ideas, and then that's going to be one of the books.
yes, and you can add a little your little story wherever, one or two liners to each other's photographs, so that you can sort of absorb it a little more better. You can understand your thinking as to why you would really take such a photograph.
Right.
Okay, so thank you very much. And anything else, Sam? You have found any more articles? No.
Hang on.
He's running a search on his computer, I think.
It is.
I'm sure it's a new Apple Mac. Sam?
If you can give me a few minutes, I can still find it.
Okay.
So thank you, Laya. Thank you for the nice presentation.
Thank you all.
See you next time. Contact me when you come down.
Yeah.
We probably can
We
have
got
a jam session.
we'll have that jazz session one of these days.
Yeah, we can jam it.
Yeah, definitely. Get Aston also involved.
Virtual.
For sure.
Why can't you do a virtual?
We can have a virtual one.
Not virtual. We could have a physical one. Physical.
Yeah.
Can't, right? For the moment, right?
Yeah.
The moment you can't do
I
anything
tried
like
the
that.
virtual ones using Zoom. That doesn't work quite.
Yeah, by the way, Ramesh, I want to tell you, the last couple of Zoom meetings that we've had, quite a lot of nice presentations. You see, varied presentations like medical, psychological, and wildlife, and landscapes, and now Laya's music. So very nice.
No
Very
point.
nice variety.
There's absolutely no point telling me all this. The Miss Zoom is just, I know how your screen is set up. Miss Zoom is also there, and you can tell Miss Zoom about
It's the person who is doing the presentation.
Misu, huh? That's a nice name for you. I mean, Misu.
So she's got so many things rolling out for us. That's great. Right. Okay.
Thanks, Shamini,
Yeah,
for-
so on the 17th, we are having the wildlife meeting at 5:45, and on the 24th, we have another 2 members presenting, Mahin Vimadharma and Yoga. So I hope you all will join for those sessions as well.
Sure.
And I will send out the links very soon.
Okay, then thank you very
And
much.
also on
Okay.
the last Friday, we have Sam presenting.
Okay, that's the creative.
Last Friday of the month, or the street photography group.
Okay.
lot of stuff. Keep us updated. Thank you. Thank you so much, Laya, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Documentation.
Bye-bye.
Bye.